is injury, oh pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life.
Good morning, everyone. This morning, I'll be starting a series on practical hints on meditation. I was asked some time ago, actually some years ago, to speak on this subject of obstacles in meditation. And I thought, okay, I can do that, but it sounds very negative. So, and we mostly know the obstacles in meditation, but what do we do about it? So I wanted to kind of start with this idea of, well, why do we have difficulty meditating? I don't know anybody who says meditation is easy. What are the problems there, and what do we do about it? What are some very practical things that we can use to help us to settle the mind down a little bit and feel that we're accomplishing something in meditation. So we don't want to feel that meditation is just a chore, that we have to do it as part of our spiritual practice. And the one point I really want to emphasize is that there's a way to take meditation from being a mental process, just and technique, and a way to control the mind, and to allow us to feel that we're really in a state of communion with the divine. To feel that this is the one opportunity we have to really experience ourselves on a different level. Swamiji says in one place that meditation is the only time that we can be who we really are, that time of meditation. So this will be the main focus, at least for today. How do we transfer this process of meditation from something that's just a mental exercise process of controlling the mind, controlling the thoughts, and allowing us to feel that we're going deeper into our true nature, that divine nature. We feel the real presence of God within, and how do we go deep into that type of feeling? So this will be a little bit of the focus today. Now the obstacles. We actually, Swami Sarvadevananda, he spoke for 20 minutes, I think, the other day. He gave a beautiful explanation about some of the obstacles of meditation. Main thing is controlling the mind. This is the main obstacle, is that either the mind is wandering all over the place, or that the mind gets a little bit sleepy. The mind gets a little bit, either it's too restless, or it goes into a state of what they call laya. Either there's this vikshepa, the mind is just constantly running from one thing to another. And if it does get a little bit concentrated on something, sometimes we may think that we're going deep into that mood or that feeling of merging or oneness, and we're not exactly falling asleep, we're half falling asleep. This state of laya, and we feel that yes, time went very quickly in meditation. I must have had a very deep meditation, but it's not exactly what we're aiming for. It's the big difference between the mind getting very, very quiet in a kind of sleepy way, and the mind getting very quiet in a very awakened way. So this is the first problem, is this monkey mind. The mind that's jumping all over the place, doesn't remain in one place for a second, and we don't feel that we're in control of it. This is a funny thing about the mind. It has a mind of itself, and it works through association. That one thing leads to another, to another, to another, and then we wonder, how did we ever get there? That we had no intention of thinking about this. One thing leads to another. This is the way the mind works. No one should feel bad about it, because this is natural. Everybody has the same kind of mind. Although I should say that for some people, the other is a bigger problem. The other people have this problem that as soon as they sit, they get into a drowsy type of state or fall asleep. So for some people, the mind is too active and restless. For others, the mind goes into this sleepy type of mood. So these are the two things, this vikshepa and then this laya state. Fewer people complain about this second state, because very often we're not aware of it. And very often we think that it's a deeper state of meditation, and it may be to some extent, but it's not the real meditation that we're trying to achieve when we sit for meditation. Then there are other problems that we experience. One, that we don't feel attracted to meditation, that we don't find joy in meditation, we can't go deep in meditation, we feel that we're always floating on the surface in meditation, or that we're not making any spiritual progress. And this idea of progress in meditation, if we restrict it to the ability to control the mind, then many people will feel after years and years and years and years that they haven't really been able to control the mind any better now than they did at the very beginning. So for me, it's not simply controlling the mind, but what is the depth of feeling that we have in meditation? And when we get this feeling level, because what do we mean? We say go deep in meditation. To me, it means go beneath the mind level to the heart level, that we can go a little deeper. And if we get to that level, then automatically the mind, not through our power of control, but through this attraction of that emotional side, the mind will become a little bit quiet. So these are all the types of questions that I wanted to start talking about with this series. So these are the basic problems that we have: inability to concentrate the mind and focus on the spiritual ideal. Now I'm talking about the kind of meditation that most of us do within this tradition. We have some mantra to repeat, we have this form of God that we want to worship, and we're told to picture within the heart center, And we try to do this focusing with the help of mental projection, we may say, and repetition. So this inability to keep the mind fixed on that, we may do it mechanically at some point, but mind will wander. And this spiritual ideal, for most of us, is something very hazy. We say God dwells within the heart. How clearly do we understand that? What does it really mean to us? And this idea that we can feel the living presence of the divine, for many of us, this is a very abstract, kind of hazy idea. So the spiritual ideal seems a little distant and a little bit hazy. And we don't feel that strong attraction to the form or personality of the chosen ideal. That for Sri Ramakrishna, meditation and spiritual life is not so much controlling the mind and keeping the mind from wandering away, but feeling such attraction for this ideal that it automatically goes in that direction. So he's always saying, don't think about the negative side of it, think about the positive pull. Don't keep pushing things away, get to feel the pull from the other side. That's why he emphasizes anuraga more than vairagya and abhyasa. We know the classic formula that what do we do when the mind is wandering? Well, we practice abhyasa, and we try to prevent the mind from going in the other direction of desires and things, vairagya. But Ramakrishna says the most important thing is that there has to be such a tremendous feeling of love and attraction for our ideal in life that will pull us toward it. So we have all of these different ideas. We don't feel the attraction to such a strong extent in meditation. If we did, it would be easy and very natural. So how do we increase this feeling of love or desire for union with God at the time of meditation? So these are the problems, and the solutions we assume are obvious solutions that abhyasa, that we practice. Now, of course, this is absolutely necessary, but it's not enough. It's not enough if we think that we can control the mind just through constantly practicing abhyasa. Abhyasa means when the mind wanders, we pull it back. We pull it back, and just like taking a dog on a leash, if we do it enough times, the dog will somehow be trained and know not to go out of it. We'll go along with this the whole time. Mind doesn't get trained so easily. So this abhyasa, it helps. There's no question about that. We have to try to do that. But we'll find that the mind keeps wandering unless we can enter into some deeper state of meditation. So we try to increase our devotion for the spiritual ideal so that this wandering mind doesn't want to wander. See, this is the way the mind works. We have to give it something more attractive and more appealing. If we simply say, don't do that, then the mind will say, but I want to do that. We tell the mind, I have something better. Trust me on this one. And then the mind says, okay, let me do that. And if we get a taste for it, then meditation will become natural and joyful. This is the main thing. It'll become joyful. So some of these obvious answers, practice. We try over and over and over again that these are the obvious things and not always the most successful. As I say, many of us have been trying for years and years and years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, to control the mind, and the mind still will be willful. And the sad thing is that as we get older, the mind is like the physical body. The physical body also doesn't have the same strength in old age. As we get older, the mind also develops a little bit of weakness sometimes. We may not be as sharp and able to do it. So we do our best. We do our best, and we understand very clearly how difficult it is. That Swami Sarvadevanand, he referred to this very famous verse where Arjuna says it would be easier to control the wind than to control the mind. So this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. It may sound very pessimistic. if we think simply in terms of our ability to forcefully control the mind through the willpower and strength of mind, then yes, there's something pessimistic about it. But if we start to understand that this treasure is within the heart, and we start to appreciate that and will long for that and want that, then the mind itself will be our friend. This Gita again makes this beautiful distinction that the mind that is our friend will be our best friend, that will be our greatest aid. Everything takes place through the mind. And the mind that is working against us is our worst enemy. That mind that just is not under our control and is just under the control of desires and past impressions. And this is the mind that we have to fight against. As I say, it's a losing battle, or convince to be our friend. This is the best way. Convince that mind that try it a little bit, get a taste for it. You'll understand that you'll enjoy it also. See, we have to talk to the mind as if we're something different from the mind. We're not really. We're stuck with this mind, but still, this is the way we can deal with these things in spiritual life, or talking to ourselves if we like. So we have this attempt at self-control. We have the process of observation of the mind. We have this desire to practice a little renunciation, to lessen our desires and our attachments. And then what we do throughout the day, we know that if we practice selfless action, we practice detachment or karma yoga, all of these will be helpful and all part of this larger solution to this problem of not just controlling the mind, but going deep into meditation and feeling that it's really a spiritual type of experience, we can say, when we sit for meditation. To feel that we're entering into some divine realm and not just doing some type of psychological control, mind control. So, when we talk about meditation, that the first thing we have to try to deal with is this fickle mind and all of the different ways that we can get this mind to do what we want it to do in meditation. And some of these will involve our understanding of meditation. Now, this is, to me, a very interesting thing, that if we understand what's taking place in meditation, we understand the nature of the mind and the self and the witness and all of these things, that they go hand in hand. That, again, it's not just technique, it's not just a process, it's not something just taking place within the mind. What is the spiritual aspect, or the metaphysical aspect of it? Who is meditating? Who is the real meditator? Who is the one? What is the object of meditation? Are these just simply a projection of the mind, or some real reality dwelling within the heart? All of these questions are helpful for us that in fact necessary for us to understand if we want to be able to go deep in meditation and convert meditation from just a mental exercise to a real type of prayerful, type of deeply spiritual practice. So these are the questions that we're going to have. That what is the relationship between our meditation and our goal? So this is a question, why do we meditate? Now, we may say everybody knows, why do we meditate? Now, I'm not talking about, there'll be some people, they do it for good health. There'll be some people, they do it to lower their blood pressure. I'm not talking about these types of things. All of us are doing it for a spiritual purpose. But what is the process? Do we ever think about that? How does meditation help us in transforming ourselves? Because for most of us, it's not reasonable to think we're practicing meditation so that one day we'll go into samadhi. Yeah, this is a very rare thing for even these very great souls. But that can't be the only thing that we gain through meditation. There has to be so many other things. So if we can understand what is this process that's taking place, what inner transformation takes place, who is meditating, what is the object of meditation. So all of these questions, for me, are very important. Because if we understand what's happening, then we can understand why we're meditating, what is the goal of meditation. Not simply concentration of mind, but the depth of devotion and love, and this feeling of oneness, and understanding the real nature of the self. If we put meditation in that context, we can see that the tremendous fruits will come from our meditation, short of any type of very high spiritual experience. Samadhi is, if we were only doing it to attain samadhi, and if we don't attain it, we feel that we've wasted our time in meditation, then we should all stop. But this journey, this practice of meditation will bear tremendous fruits if we can look at it with eyes wide open, with a clear understanding of what's taking place at the time of meditation. So this will be the main focus today. As I say, it's a series. We'll get to a lot of other very basic things. How long can we sit in meditation? So even this question of asana that we have, that many obstacles are physical obstacles, that the body won't allow us to sit for a long time in meditation. There'll be many other practical things. Do we have a routine? Do we sit at the same time? Do we have special clothes we wear? Do we light some incense? All of these practical things are helpful. We'll get to them. But the emphasis that I want to place today is on this understanding of this process of meditation, and somehow how we can get the mind to understand the tremendous importance of sitting quietly and trying to change our understanding of who we are, and this understanding of what we're trying to accomplish in our spiritual life. So we'll see that many aspects will come up, that how do we tie this in with our devotion and with our emotional life and everything, and how do we feel that pull from the spiritual ideal and everything. But as I say, I want to start today with this idea of why do we practice meditation? What do we really want to accomplish? And how does this meditation allow us to accomplish that? So having an understanding of this process of meditation, and knowing that what we're trying to accomplish in meditation will mirror the real nature of the self. And the interesting thing is that we can all have different understandings. There are different models, different ways of looking at all of this. Some of us will be very devotional. For some of us, we want to feel the divine presence of the Lord within the heart. For some of us, we want to feel, I am the witness. I'm observing everything at the time of meditation. For some, that witness is the presence of God within. See, if we're talking about prayer, for example, it's very clear. I'm the one who's praying. God is listening to my prayer as the antaryamin within. In meditation, it's complicated. I may feel that I'm the meditator and God is the witness of all of that. I may feel that I'm the witness. And who is meditating? The mind itself. So all different models that will have ways of looking at it, but they're all helpful. And somebody may say, well, this isn't why I meditate. I want all of my focus to be on the Ishtadevata. I don't care about all of this other stuff. But the mind wanders, and when it wanders, it can wander along these lines also. So this is something that can take place at the same time. The same time that I'm trying to focus the mind on the presence of the divine within the heart, I can still have this feeling that, yes, I'm also the observer of all of this. I can also have that feeling that God is dwelling within as the witness. These are all possible. Otherwise, the mind will wander to other things. This is the nature of the mind. So this is one way. We know we have this lila dhyana. Let the mind wander to other aspects of this divine play. But this is another way. Let the mind also contemplate and feel that something is taking place within that involves that divine presence and myself, whatever my concept of myself is. So the first question, who is it that meditates, and on whom do we meditate? So this question of subject and object, I was referring to it earlier, and this again is a question of our spiritual attitude, and it's a question of how we feel at the time. See, we can go back and forth. Sometimes we have a strong sense of I, this feeling of I, just as in spiritual life in general. That when this sense of I is very strong, I'm a servant and God is the master. I'm a child and God is the mother. Then there'll be other times when we want to feel that I'm pure spirit. I'm the self. So this question of who is the meditator is not such a simple question. Is it just the mind entering into a state of meditation? Am I in control of it? We all have some sense that we're responsible. I don't want to say that I had a terrible meditation. It wasn't my fault, it was my mind's fault. Yeah, I can say mine was especially restless today, but I also have to take responsibility. I wasn't able to control the mind. So it's very tricky. How do we separate the mind from the I, from this witness observing the whole thing, all of it taking place within consciousness? It becomes very tricky, and at the same time, we can feel that now we're entering into a different realm, that we're really feel this consciousness as this ocean of consciousness within, and some play is taking place within. This play between the lower self and the higher self, between the witness and the mind. And after our meditation, the mind may be wandering and everything, but we'll feel that for a while we forgot everything else. We're entering into a realm where we're forgetting our body even. We may go back and forth within this ocean of consciousness, but we're allowing our meditation now to go into a different realm where it's not just a mental exercise. So we have different models that we use, especially with regard to what is the nature of the mind. And one of the most common is this Sankhya Yoga model. Now, this is based on the idea that the mind is an instrument, that the mind is composed of some type of subtle matter of the three gunas. We may say we can't exactly explain. It's not really a scientific thing that we can observe tamas and rajas and sattva through a microscope. It's not exactly like that. But this idea that the mind is an instrument is capable of catching that reflection. So we have two different models according to this Sankhya Yoga, or two different ways of understanding it. One is the very common one that Sri Ramakrishna uses, that we think of this body as a container filled with water, and this water is able to catch the reflection of the sun. So what we're trying to do here in meditation is let the surface of the mind become calm, and let the murkiness of the water become clear. So there are two things. If we try to see the reflection of the sun in a pond, if the surface is filled with ripples, then the sun will have ripples. And if it's very murky and dirty, we won't get a good reflection. So this is one type of model that we have. And this is very helpful. Now, for me, this question of is the mind really subtle matter? Is the mind really able to reflect this consciousness? Is not a very important question. These are questions for the philosophers. For us, it's a very helpful model very helpful for us to feel that this mind is able to give us a clear reflection of reality when it's calm and quiet. This is enough. Most of us are really not interested in the deep metaphysics and things. At least I, at this stage of my life, I'm not interested in those things at all. But it's a very beautiful and helpful type of model that now we understand why we want to make this mind quiet. It's like looking into a mirror, that if the mirror is dirty, we won't see our face. If we can clean it off, if the mirror has no defects in it, we can get a perfect reflection of the self. So it's a very helpful way of understanding what we're trying to do in meditation. So it's a very practical type of thing. We have a nice quotation from Swamiji. He says, "The mind is like a lake, and every stone that drops into it raises waves. These waves do not let us see what we are. The full moon is reflected in the water of the lake, but the surface is so disturbed that we do not see the reflection clearly. Let it be calm. Do not let nature raise the wave. Keep quiet, and then after a little while, she will give you up." That means the mind will be, this restless tendency of the mind will start to disappear. Then we know what we are. Now, am I this container filled with water, or am I that sun, or am I the reflected sun? They're again for the philosophers to worry about. If we want to identify with the container, we can feel God is dwelling within. That reflection of the divine is dwelling within my heart. If I want to feel, no, I'm really the sun, then I am that. These are beautiful attitudes that we can take in spiritual life. And whatever is helpful for us, the attitude in spiritual life is a very important thing. And as I said earlier, it can change. We can be in different moods at different times. If we want to feel that God is listening to our every thought within, good. If I want to feel that I'm the eternal witness and observer of everything, that's my real I, good. They're both, are they mutually contradictory? Ultimately, no, I don't think so, because they're models. They're different ways of understanding things. And the philosophers will argue tooth and nail. Yeah, that Vedanta, no, we won't accept this Sankhya idea, that ultimately it was all the same absolute Brahman. And yeah, but from this practical point of view, all these different attitudes are helpful. And this is the emphasis that Sri Ramakrishna gave to all of these things. Jotama Totopat, each mata, each of these different spiritual moods or attitudes or doctrines and everything, they're meant to take us to that final goal. We don't have to bother about this contradicts something else. So this is one way. We want the mind to become a perfect reflector. Now, there's another idea, a beautiful idea. We want the mind to become perfectly translucent, so we can see all the gems at the bottom of the ocean. So this murkiness of the mind, which will be the passions and the desires and everything, if we can eliminate all of them, then we can see to the very bottom of the lake. Now, does this contradict the other one? Are we trying to see a reflection, or are we trying to see the bottom of the lake? They're both beautiful ideas, that's all. So Swamiji says, the bottom of a lake we cannot see because its surface is covered with ripples. It is only possible for us to catch a glimpse of the bottom when the ripples have subsided and the water is calm. So the ultimate conclusion is the same. Make it clear. Purify the heart. Quiet the mind. If the water is muddy or is agitated all the time, the bottom will not be seen. If it is clear and there are no waves, we shall see the bottom. The bottom of the lake is our own true self. The lake is the chitta, the mind stuff, and the waves are the vrittis, the thought waves. So when we start to think in these terms, then when we sit for meditation, we don't have to simply feel, now I'm sitting down, now I'm trying to withdraw my mind, now I'm trying to project the image of the Ishtadevata, now I'm trying to repeat the mantra, now I'm trying to eliminate external thought. These are all mechanical types of things. We are trying to do these things, but now we can start to feel we're entering into this realm of spirit, that it's not simply just this mechanical type of exercise. So we can feel when we sit for meditation, I am that eternal, unchanging witness of the mind. The mind is trying to become calm and quiet and concentrated. I'm watching that mind and trying not to react to it or becoming identified with it. So this is the main advantage of this Sankhya Yoga idea, that if the mind is an instrument, then I don't identify with an instrument. I'm that consciousness. I'm the consciousness that is functioning through the mind, but also can be observing the mind at the same time. So this is the essence of this yogic type of meditation. Our meditation is more of a devotional type of meditation, but this also forms an aspect of it. This is the point I'm trying to make, that this shouldn't replace any idea that I want to picture the Ishtadevata within the heart and everything, but we can still feel that at the same time, this is all taking place within this ocean of consciousness, and that this mind is somehow a reflector or an instrument that's allowing us to see the real nature of the self within. This is also a very good way to get rid of this lethargy and this laya, this torpidity, this tendency of the mind to start to fall asleep. When the mind is just trying to get absorbed in something, then sometimes it forgets itself. If we try to remain aware of the fact that I'm also observing all of this, that I'm the witness of all of this, this also keeps this other portion of the mind active. And at least for me, I find that this is also helpful, that the mind starts to wander, then immediately I become the observer of that mind. I watch it. Otherwise, we won't be able to bring it back. We won't be able to keep it from falling asleep. We have to maintain a little bit of that feeling of being the witness. So I want to go back to this question of who is it that is meditating, and what is it that is the object of meditation? So again, we have different moods. We have different moods. When we think of the object of meditation, that generally we'll say that this is the power of the mind to project this image of the Ishtadevata. This is what we're trying to do. That it's a mental concept that we're trying to think and try to picture and try to imagine what is the real nature of God. If we can switch that, and we can feel that consciousness itself is taking the form of the Ishtadevata, that it's not simply a mental type of thing, that somehow this consciousness can congeal into that form. The Sri Ramakrishna used to like this expression, this Chinmoy Sham, Chinmoy Dham, that Sham, it means Krishna. We can say just the Ishtadevata. Whatever form that we're meditating on is not a mental construct. There's the pure consciousness itself is existing in that form. Anything that's existing within the mind is within consciousness. So we can feel that this is the real presence of the divine. Now look at the difference between thinking when we sit for meditation that we're just projecting an image with the help of imagination, and this other idea that this ocean of consciousness is taking the form of our Ishtadevata through our devotion. This is the idea that Sri Ramakrishna gives us, that he says picture devotion as this power to cool the water to such an extent that it will turn into ice and take a particular form. So if we can feel in our meditation that This is the actual presence of the divine within the heart, not just a projection of the mind, actual presence of the divine within the heart. Then we can feel that the Ishtadevata, that this is pure consciousness, Chinmaya. This is pure consciousness taking a particular form within the heart. And who is the one who's meditating? This is meditating, the person who's meditating, this is also that play within consciousness. See, this infinite Brahman, infinite absolute Brahman, this Leela Brahman is this play between subject and object. That this Brahman becomes both the subject and the object. That it projects this universe and remains as the consciousness of the whole universe, enters within the heart, that same divine presence within, functioning as the object of meditation and the one who's meditating. Now, if we want to take it a step further, and we want to say that I see this as a process of the mind, then the real I is that awareness of this play. I am the one observing this process of meditation. So we have different ways of understanding this. We may feel sometimes that I am meditating on God. Sometimes God is meditating on me. Now, it's a funny thing to say. God is meditating on me, that this mind is trying to do all of this, and God as the antaryamin, God as the witness, as the indweller, is the observer. As I say, if we switch it to prayer, then we can easily understand it. God is dwelling within, hearing my every thought, hearing my every prayer. In meditation, we can also have that feeling that the observer is the divine itself. See, this concept of the sakshan, the witness, this is a very interesting thing that for some, this will be me. I am the witness, my own higher self. If we identify a little bit with the mind and everything, then it's the antaryamin. Then it's God dwelling within, Ishvara dwelling within, causing us to go round and round. The real agent, the real actor, all of that, the real observer is God dwelling within, if we identify with the lower self a little bit more. So who is the agent of action? These are all interesting questions. Sri Ramakrishna, one very interesting dialogue he has with himself. He's talking to the Divine Mother, and he says, Mother, do I feed you or do you feed me? Now, think what that means, that sometimes if he has this feeling, the identification with the personality of Sri Ramakrishna, then he's the one who's making the offerings to Mother. Other times that he'll feel he's a child of Mother, Mother's the one who's looking after him. So we can feel that I'm the one who's meditating, and God within as the antaryamin is observing all of this, or that I am the observer. And it's the mind that's doing this meditation. So this is a very nice type of thing that sometimes we can sit in meditation and ask, who is it who's meditating? And we may feel that it's just a process that's taking place, that there's no room for the I in it at all. There's another attitude that we can take at the time of meditation, that the mind is functioning, and the observer of all of this is also not me. This is God dwelling within. That it's just this witnessing consciousness within, and the mind also functioning with this light of consciousness is there. So there's no room for this I at all. There's no ego in this process. It's just this play of divinity, this Brahman itself as both the subject and the object. So pure consciousness, observing the workings of the mind, and at that time we won't find any ego at all. And if we can get to that state, these are very joyful states. The tremendous freedom, is a feeling of freedom and expansion and transcendence comes if we can reach that state where we see this I to have just melted away. We see that there's no, this I was the cause of all of our problems, this ego. In meditation, we observe this function of meditation, and we say, yes, this is just this play of the divine within. So these are all very, very helpful things, at least for me, that put us in a different environment, spiritual environment. We don't have to be thinking about these things consciously all the time when we sit for meditation. We set a mood for ourselves so that we feel that really we're entering into a new space. Sometimes I think in meditation, just as we can go into outer space, we can go so far into outer space that we don't see this earth or anything like that, that we go into inner space. We go so deeply into inner space that we leave the world behind us. And this inner space is that space of consciousness. So, and then this object of meditation is, I was saying, we can feel that just as we take a pitcher of water from the ocean, and it takes the shape of that pitcher, that the object of meditation is that divine self, is that divinity taking the form of our chosen deity. And this can really change the nature of our meditation completely. And if we're devotional in nature, then we look at this from that point of view that, yeah, now I get a chance to enter into that space where I can commune with the beloved, or the mother and the child, or the servant and the master, any of these types of relationships. And if we do this with sincerity and long enough, then this becomes our reality. And this waking state takes less of a reality to it. This is why Sri Ramakrishna could say to Narendra, yeah, I've seen God, and it's far more real in the sense that I'm seeing you. That inner reality becomes stronger, more real than this external reality. And the pull comes that we want to go back to that the time of meditation will be our time of communion. So this is something that I think will bring a level of joy to our meditation, a level of seriousness. It'll help also with these problems of the mind wandering and the mind falling asleep and all of that. That it'll be an adventure, the meditation. We have to use some of these tricks on the mind so that we'll really look upon meditation as a very sacred time. This is why we try to keep a sacred space where we do our meditation. Not wear dirty old clothes. Maybe take a shower and everything first, and make it a sacred act, meditation, rather than just some type of mental type of psychological exercise. It can be done that way, of course, but this way some tremendous joy will come from it. So I wanted to start with this. I could have started with other things, but I thought if we kind of set the mood for everything, that this will be a very helpful way to begin. And we can look, next week we'll look at some other ways of understanding this. The mind doesn't have to be looked upon as an instrument. The mind can be looked upon as just the surface of this ocean of consciousness. When Sri Ramakrishna says this pure mind, one with pure intellect, is one with the pure self. This mind is an instrument, won't be one with the self. It's just a different model. So we'll look at that also a little bit. Now, what I'd like to do, we have 5 minutes or so. We'll sit quietly for meditation. And in addition, of course, do your regular meditation, but feel that this light that is illuminating the mind, this consciousness, is the divine light of God, that this divine light of God takes the form of the witness and of the chosen ideal. Both are there. And that all of this reflection that will take place, because his mind will become calm and quiet, that will see the real nature of the self and understand that this is a play of the divine, meditating on the divine. This meditation is something that we can feel this tangible presence of God as consciousness, God as the self. God is taking the form of both the subject and the objects of meditation, and even the one meditating. That this will be we can try to understand this process of meditation in this light. So let's take about 5 minutes and try to sit quietly now. Sri Ramakrishna. So, I think we continue with this topic next week. Yeah. So, yeah. I hope it wasn't too confusing. I wanted it to be to make things easier. Anyhow, whatever little that anybody can utilize from it is happy. Anyhow, thank you all for coming, and please join us for a refreshment in the basement.